Shalom, everybody. We're going to start off with a prayer and get into worship and get right into the word. Oh, yeah, we come before you right now. Just thank you right now for this day that you have made. Father, yeah, we thank right now that we rejoice and be glad in it. Father, yeah, we just thank right now as we counsel and destroy all the fiery darts of the enemy. We quench all of them. Father, yeah, we just thank right now just being with us throughout this day, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we come against everything that's not like you, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we just come against every crooked way. We make them all straight, Father, yeah, by the faith, Father, yeah, in Yahushua Hamashiach. Father, yeah, we just thank right now we come against all types of rocks of slothfulness right now, Father, yeah. We come against all diseases, Father, yeah, that tries to attach itself to us, Father, yeah. Father, yeah, we just thank you right now for our mind being stayed upon Yahushua Hamashiach. Yes, and we magnify your name right now for this day that you have made. In the name of your son, Yahushua Hamashiach, we pray. So be it. All right, y'all, we back. We're going to be talking about fiery trials today. Of course, this should be the last day of our unleavened bread. And we actually had this time to reflect on the things that we wanted the Most High to help us with, things that we know that we may have struggled with, that may have had us bound, potentially trying to have us bound or whatever it may be. So in this case here, we took the time out during the unleavened bread feast to make sure that we didn't have any leaven in our hearts also, not just in our mouths or bodies at home. So we wanted to make sure that, we were up to par with the Most High and make sure we do, took inventory of ourselves to make sure that everything is lined up according to the way that it should be lined up, with our lifestyle. So that's pretty much what it was, a lifestyle check. And now that we know that we are entering into the end of it, we want to make sure that we realize that it doesn't end like the Most High. He allows us to go through trials and through tribulations. He doesn't necessarily like so much take you through them, but he allows you to go through them. He will actually prove you. But at the same time, most of these fiery trials that we go through, they come from the enemy. Most of it is just a smoke screen. Most of it is just we call it smoke and mirrors. It's just it's just there as an illusion. It's real, but the end result is that you'll come out as pure gold if you actually just stand during the trial, because the Most High is still there in the process of the trial. Is that we think that he's gone most of the time because we have removed ourselves from him, but he's never removed himself from us. And so therefore we're going to be dealing with the book of Peter, talking about fiery trials, let you know not to think it a strange thing that you're tried with a fiery trial, because they come, so we don't have to worry about the trial. It's just the fact that you're endured through the process of the trial in order to be successful in the end. So we're going to start off with 1 Peter chapter 4, and we're going to look at the first verse, and there's a semicolon there, but we're only going to do the first verse, and I'm going to speak on that, and then we're going to do the second verse. So we're going to do 1 Peter chapter 4 and 1, and then we'll go from there.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. For as much then as Hamashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin.
So basically, that just took me back to, we're not going to turn that 2 Timothy 3 and 12. It said, yeah, and all that those that will fear Yahushua and Yahushua Hamashiach should suffer persecution. And so therefore, if you actually are going to have the fear of Yah in you and you're going to reverence Yah, then persecution is going to come. Because remember, when you're actually walking upright, it brings opposition. It brings opposition from people, friends. It brings opposition just from the universe in general. Like, we don't worship the universe or anything like that. We know that the Most High created the universe and the creatures that are there. So we have to be mindful of those that are actually around us, that the enemy is going to use them. They're just minions. The people just sitting there, sitting up, just waiting to be used by the enemy if they don't have the Most High in their life. It's like the old saying, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for whatever else that's there. So if you're not standing for the Most High, you automatically by default fall for something. So it's like something is going to be Lord over you. Something is going to influence you, no matter whether it's just your flesh or something that you saw in general. So it's that if you're actually going to walk upright, then opposition comes naturally. It comes to actually get you, to the next level. So it's like when you fail that test, the fiery trial test, is like it just keeps starting over and over and over again. And what happens if the person don't eventually break and yield themselves to the Most High, they find themselves in a state of depression. They find themselves oppressed because of the cares of this life and because of what's going on. They're like, why keep going through this same trial over and over again? Well, because you haven't passed the test. It just comes in a different manner, and it keeps coming. It keeps coming. But we know that James said, if you resist the enemy, he will flee. But if you're not resisting him, then he has no reason to flee, because you're actually giving him legal ground. So it's like during the fiery trial, you have to make sure that you are actually standing and walking upright before the Most High. And so therefore, if you're going to be in the Most High, you're going to have the fear of Yah, automatically the trial is coming. It has to come. You know what I'm saying? If the trial don't come, then you're not worthy. So if you haven't been tried, then how can you be proven by the Most High? That's the thing. So you have somebody that you say, okay, look, even when it talks about the deacons and stuff, it said, let these men be proven. And so if they're not proven, then how are they going to be worthy enough to actually reign? We talking about reigning in New Jerusalem. Like, we can't reign there if we can't, overcome the trials and tribulations that are here. So we'll go to the second verse. Well, really.
1 Peter 4:2, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahuwah.
And this is the thing. So that goes back, that right there ties into one of my favorite scriptures, which is the Romans 12:1-2. That's why I say, beloved, I beseech you by the mercy of Yah, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, set apart, a kodesh, and accept unto Yah, which is your reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So therefore, you can't do that if you're actually still walking in the lust of the flesh. So you have to present your bodies to Yah so that you can even overcome these trials. Most of the time, we don't overcome the trials because we're trying to overcome the trials in our own power and our own strength. It's like we're trying to find it within ourselves, self-will to actually overcome these things, but there's no inside self-will to do it. You don't have the strength to overcome some of these trials. Some of these trials will cause a mental breakdown. If you don't actually have the Most High, you'll do, this is why people lose their mind. This is why people actually put in these, these mental psychiatric wards, whatever you want to call them, they're put in these places because they have snapped. And they have snapped, that's the thing. But if you present your body unto the Most High, he won't snap. Because that's the thing. The word say, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. So if you get him in you, then he'll be greater than the trial. And that's what we have to look at. So if you don't have him in you, you're not going to pass the trial. You can't pass the trial without the Ruach HaKodesh. Don't get me wrong, you'll overcome a few things through self-will. But when the rubber meets the road, when the real trial hits, it's going to be powerful. I mean, it's going to be to a point where people are going to have to make a choice on whether or not they're going to go into this society and serve, the government or whatever, or serve Yah. When it gets to that point, you can't just do your own thing, and then when it comes to the end, think you're going to stand when the trial comes. No, you're going to make the choice to do what you think you got to do. Is the word they use to feed your family. Whatever you think you got, you're going to do, take the mark, or whatever you got to do, because you haven't been built up. You haven't passed any trial. So it gets to this one point. You're waiting on this one moment saying, okay, well, when the time comes, I won't deny the Most High. I won't turn. I won't go and violate my body or do what I got to do in order to get some food or whatever. The preparation time is now. Like now is the time to make sure you have the food planted so you can be sustainable. Make sure you have all the prep work done, all the water stacked. Everything needs to be available now. And this is what I keep visualizing, just the concept of people in these lines and stuff, trying to get free food, trying to get water and trying to get stuff. But, it's like, you're putting yourself in a position where it's going to be rationed out to the point where it is no more. That's the thing, when you put yourself in the mind of these stores. I'm bringing this up because this is what's going on. It's like right now, a lot of music is going on. It's kind of like a lot of noise is going on, a lot of distractions going on. It's the war going on. A lot of weird stuff is happening around us. We see stuff happening, in social media and stuff. And I don't even want to give glory to none of it. A lot of people that's not been on the rock know what's been going on in the social media world. So it's like a lot of things have been going on to distract us, but at the same time, this is the time to, if it seems like everything is fine, this is the time to put your foot on the gas. Make sure you got everything planted. Make sure that you have everything stopped. Make sure that it's there to sustain you as long as you can allow it to. I don't put a limit on. I don't believe in the 3 months. I believe you need to have as much as you can, because we don't know what the case may be, and that's going to be the greatest fiery trial when it gets to a point where it seems like everything is crumbling apart. It's going to come all of a sudden. It's like people thinking it's going to creep upon. Like you don't get a chance to let it just creep up. It's going to hit. All of a sudden, the rug is going to be pulled from under us, and people are not going to have any food. And it's like the stores are going to shut down. Everything is going to happen all at once. If you really can read through what's going on with the crypto, with all these countries adopting it, and the dollar bill depreciating, inflation is coming on, it's going to be to a point where when it gets to a point where certain ones don't trade with us, it's going to be a wrap. And when it gets to a point where all of a sudden they make an excuse to just skyrocket, all of a sudden overnight, gas prices $12 or $13 a gallon. It's like now the trucks can stop because they can't afford to put the gas in the truck. Now in 3 days, all the shelves are empty. And at this particular point, now you have to face reality, where it's back to this free cheese line or whatever else that we got going on that won't last, but probably a day or two before they don't have any food, and the people are out there fighting, they're kicking in doors, and everything is going on crazy. And at this point, this is the fiery trial, but you can pass that trial by listening now. Like those that have their ears in tune to the Ruach, you know what I'm saying, the Ruach HaKodesh, it'll let you know what's going on. You can see the times, you can see the signs of what's going on. The handwriting is on the wall. But the thing is, when we wait till the last minute and okay, we say, okay, I'm going to pass this trial, that's one trial you won't be able to pass if you haven't been prepared for, because there's nothing there to pass it. You have no choice but to fold or to find somebody that's going to help you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You won't be in position to actually sustain yourself at that point in time. But we have time now. Well, I don't know how much time we have. All I know is that it just keeps hitting me heavy about making sure that we're ready when this time comes. Get myself prepared to make sure I have enough out there so that I can just go out there in the backyard and just pick what I need instead of having to worry about whether the store have this in stock or not. Because at some point, they won't have it in stock. And so just wanted to kind of look at that, you know, just concerning fiery trials. I mean, because when we deal with that, that's the real picture. That's what we're dealing with now. Like Peter and them, you know, they were talking in general concerning their time, but what we're facing now, we're facing, you know, what they call a drought, basically. You know what I'm saying? We're facing that right now. We're facing a food shortage. We're facing a lot of stuff that's going to be going on, where a lot of people got to be in position where they won't get robbed. Because remember, you know, all these people, you know, when they get hungry, everything changes. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, for a can of beans, it's like they ready to kick the dough in. Like that, people that you were just speaking to in the grocery store line, they got to feed their children. So it's like, at this point, you're nothing. You're prey to them. They're ready to get you. So that's why we have to make sure we are prepared. But a lot of people take it for granted. They're taking it lightly. And a lot of stuff I see them investing in too, they can't utilize it, like red bombs, all this kind of crazy stuff. I see people buying all these, you know, I don't even want to give any glory to any stuff, you know, that they're using and stuff, you know, the designer wear and stuff that they're buying, that's wasting up a lot of stuff. You know, you paying $300-400 for a belt, that can be like enough water to get you through 6 months, probably. I mean, like that, if you find the right deal or more. But people are not looking at that. They're just looking at nothing is wrong now. Nothing happens now. It's just like a diet. You know what I mean? It's just like a sickness that come on from bad eating habits, diabetes. Something happens over a period of time. It doesn't happen right away. It happens over a period of time. If you've been eating bad so long, then now all of a sudden you have this. It's okay, you got this particular disease now. You didn't get it today. That's the thing. So it's nothing's just going to happen right away. It's going to happen over a period of time. It's going to happen because you was not prepared. And if you're prepared, you won't have to worry about, you know, the fiery trial in that aspect. But our daily fiery trials is what we have to make sure that we're overcoming, so we can even be in tune for the big picture. Like we can't be in tune for the big picture. We're not passing the small tests that's coming on a regular basis. But anyway, you want to say something about fiery trial? Okay, so we're gonna go on. Now we're gonna turn to 4 and 12. 1 Peter 4 and 12.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12 reads, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fire trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as you are partakers of Mashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy."
Okay. 14. Yeah, just 12 and 13. So basically, we're looking at right there, when you start going through a fiery trial, a personal deal or something that's happened, the first thing you should do is take inventory of your life. You know what I'm saying? Start looking at what's going on in your lifestyle and see if this chastisement from the Most High or just a fiery trial. Sometimes we can mix a fiery trial up with disobedience. Being disobedient, you're getting whooped, you're being chastised because what you done wrong. But if you're suffering for righteousness' sake, at that point, then the Most High is with you, you're being developed. And so that's different. You're not so much, I mean, it will develop you and teach you not to do that no more, but you still at stage one when you're getting whooped because something you did wrong. You're living in sin and you did something, you committed a sinful act, ought against a brother or sister, something. So therefore you being whooped by the Most High, you're being chastised. A lot of people overlook that and they be saying, oh, this is the devil, but it's not the devil when the Most High is chastising you. You're actually keeping yourself a base at a low standing point where you're not able to go to the next level and face the real trial because you still getting chastised by the Most High. And so now in some cases you have that happening, then now you're still going through stuff that can be eliminated. Some of the stuff you go through because of sin can be eliminated. And when you get to that next level, then you know that, okay, now I know for a fact my life is right with the Most High. I'm going through a fiery trial. I'm going through this trial now because I'm standing for the Most High. That's the trial. That's the fiery trial. The other thing is chastising. A lot of people are wallowing in sin. They think that, oh, it's the devil. No, it's you. I'm saying you're living an adulterous lifestyle. You're doing this, whatever it is that you're doing on a regular basis that's against the will or word of Yah is causing that to happen to you. And the enemy has a legal ground. That's the thing. Sin gives him a legal ground to do things, but it's still the chastisement of the Most High because he's not going to let him at will do something to you. If you're in him, he has to actually be able to do it. He don't just have the free will to just come against you. That's the thing. I mean, you have fiery darts that happen, but you don't have the free will to just come and just take over your life and just put curses on you that stand for long periods of time because of something you're not doing. You enter these doors, you open these gateways, and it allows things to happen. But what it is, since we still believe in the Most High, we think that, okay, it's not a big deal. It's just something that's going on, but it's something that you have caused to come on. And if it's something that you have caused to happen, it's not, so much as it's a trial, but it's not a fiery trial. This is something that you're getting because of repercussion, basically. It's something, it's like, you're reaping what you sowed. I mean, you open the door, you open Pandora's box, now all this stuff is attaching itself to you. And you can't mix that up. You have to actually get that together. Stop all that, clean your life up and get everything lined up. And now that stuff is out the way. Now the enemy has to come heads on. He has to actually make sure that, he's coming the right way. He don't just get legal access or legal ground to you to overtake your life. You don't just get possessed with something when you're in the Most High. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're in this world. We see things happen. He's the prince of this world, but we don't have to actually be bound by things when we're in the Most High. That's the difference. So something coming against you is one thing, but you being bound by it is a whole nother thing. When you're bound by something, you've given your life into something. You've allowed something to come in that's not in the Most High, and it has you in bondage. It shouldn't have you in bondage unless it has Lord over your life. That's the thing. So, that's the difference. So if you realize that, then you're not at the enemy's, he don't have legal ground just to do what he want to do with you. He has to have permission to do things if you don't give him legal ground. He has legal rights when you do certain things. When you practice witchcraft, then you open up certain doors, certain demons get attached to you because of what you have done. And that has to be stopped. You have to, renounce all this stuff and get everything lined up. It takes so much to tear down to get you to square one so you can start growing. A lot of people at ground zero, below zero, because they haven't even got to the point where they've let the wicked stuff go. They're like where they can actually get to a point to grow in the Most High. It's like you have to put these things away, anything that you're using outside of the Most High to actually do things. So anyway, you can go. Did you do 14?
Mm-mm. If ye be 14, if ye be reproached for the name of Mashiach, happy are ye, for the Ruach Yahuwah of glory rests upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified.
Okay, and so therefore, you're looking at this like this. It's like during the time when you have Peter and John, when they healed a man, in Acts chapter 4, they healed a man. At that time, they were actually, I would say rebuked. But the power of Yah was so powerful at that time, the people feared the other people around. So they say, we didn't see anything to punish these people for, so we're going to just warn them and let them go. But we have other cases where we see Paul and Silas in prison because of what they done. And it was all because of the righteousness of Yah. They wouldn't be in prison because of something they did wrong. They were being in prison because of making a stand for Yah. And so if you're making a stand for Yah and you're put in prison, then that's for righteousness' sake. This is nothing, this is a fiery trial here that you could say there's something because of the fact that you're living right, not living wrong. And so let's look at Psalm 66 and 10. Psalm 66 and 10. All right.
Psalm 66, verse 10 reads, "For you, Elohim, O Elohim, have proved us. You have tried us as silver is tried."
Okay, so basically this is what he's saying. So you have proved us, you have tried us as silver is tried. And so therefore, the Most High, he proves you like that. So it's like when you're actually, the Most High, he already know what you can do. Like when David was chosen as king, he was already proven. He had already protected sheep. He was already ready. He was already ready to be a warrior for the Most High and a king for the Most High. So the Most High doesn't just pick anybody. He picked people that he know can actually do the job. He prepares people. If he calls you, he's going to make sure you're prepared. He doesn't just call anybody. He doesn't call who people think that should be called also. It's the thing. A lot of people, they deal with a lot of politics and stuff. The Most High doesn't really deal with a lot of politics. I see a lot of that in the Christian world and the Hebrew world. There's a lot of politicking going on. The Most High, you don't have to politic if you're in the Most High. He's going to tell you what to do, and you're going to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. And what goes on when you're in politics, a lot of cliques and stuff are formed. And a lot of these cliques are the ones that's actually promoting you and not the Most High. So once the cliques that you politicking with say, okay, yeah, you cool with us. Now we look at you as whatever. They want to look at you as what is elder, or prophet, apostle, whatever. You don't need that. They don't have to stamp you. If it's not set up like the Most High say, set up like politics and stuff, is rubbing shoulders. We have people, just doing whatever, the ones are doing favors for certain ones, and they're kind of clicking together. Kind of reminds you of like a big fraternity club or a social club or something. It's like, if anybody understands what politicking is, it is what it is. It's like what's understood ain't got to be explained. That's what's going on to actually get people to certain levels. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And the Most High, he doesn't operate like that. He'll actually bring a word from somebody that, just like when they was talking about Paul and them, they were saying these guys seem to be unlearned, and they knew that they had spent in the company of the Most High, in the company, so therefore when you actually with the Most High and you spend the time with him, the knowledge you have sometimes will supersede the knowledge of those that are involved in politics. I'm talking about the wisdom that it takes to articulate that knowledge. It's like certain ones may be like, amazed, because thinking like, hey, look, we ain't really heard you. We didn't know that you had this in you, but it's not them that has to approve you. That's the thing. If the Most High has approved you, then you're approved by him. And that's the thing. Most people, they don't see that. That's why when they was picking Saul as king at that time, they picked him because they say he was tall. He stood tall above all the people, and they was looking at somebody that they can see. And I think they were saying based on how he looked also. So basically people looking at someone that I would say would come to a guy that's a king, that they would say is handsome, that's tall, that's strong and looks powerful to the physical eye. But the Most High may pick somebody short, puny, that don't even look like he's powerful. Anything looks weak, but the power of Yah is going to bring him to be strong. And so it's why I say he chose those things that are weak to confound those things that are strong. And the world don't recognize it. Just where they're going to go south at, because they're looking at someone that appears to be strong to the natural eye. And this is what we see happening. It's why you see a lot of these militant type people in the walking stuff, because they look to be powerful in the flesh. But the Most High is not looking for that. He don't want you to be not strong at all, but at the same time, you don't have to be what men perceive to be powerful to be approved by the Most High. And this is what people go south at, because they're looking for the north. They're looking for some itching at the ear. See, where I'm coming from here, a lot of these videos we're putting out, I don't expect a super big crowd, because the word talks about many called, few chosen. The road is narrow. It's not this big, broad, and spacious road that we see going on, in either whether it be the church world or the Hebrew world. It's like everyone is just okay. Everything is going. No, everybody's not going to make it in. It's like, that's like the news flash. A lot of people won't make it in, and a lot of people are going to be misled because of what they're doing. They're following the wrong way. The path that they're following is not the path of the Most High. They're following a carnal path, and that carnal path is going to lead them to destruction. And the thing is, the sad part about this is a lot of people think that that's the right thing, but they're caught up. They're caught up in the flesh, thinking that it's a spiritual thing because of the excitement of what's going on. In this case, it's the excitement of the walk. And in the Christian world, it's the excitement of the things that they see, all the charismatic things that they see, everything that's got them caught up, be it the music, the running around, dancing and shouting, prophesying, whatever it may be. That's not that these things are bad, but if these things are your focus and your focus is not on the Most High, that's where the problem comes in at. And normally that is the focus. People want a wow factor. They want something to excite them rather than the contentment of the Most High. And this is the thing, if you're in the Most High and you're content, he's going to take you down the right road. But this is why Elijah did not hear the Most High until he heard that small, still voice. When he was in the world, when he didn't hear that. All the noise and stuff he didn't hear, but in the small, still voice is when he heard the Most High. And this is how the Most High deals. He don't deal with showy, flashy, all this kind of stuff here on a regular basis. Not that he can't speak through that stuff, but that's normally not how it works. And if you're caught up into the flashy, showy, and the shiny object stuff, what happens, you miss the Most High. And it's like, I'd rather make it into the kingdom than to be excited, than my flesh to be excited, than to have the tickling of the ear, to feel like I'm doing something that satisfies me. And this is the thing, so the satisfaction of you will cost you. It'll cost you salvation because you'll be so self-satisfied to the point you don't want to do the will of the Most High. You think I'm conquered already. He calls you to be unconquered, not conquered. And it's unconquered not to be, I would say, pleased. That's what it is. Like, so this is what we have going on. The entertainment pleases people. Certain things, when the Most High is not there, no one really thinks about it, because as long as you hear the word in the Christian world, God, Yah, on this side, you think, okay, this got to be a good thing, but it's not a good thing. It's like we can't use that slogan, nevertheless. No, we can't get into this stuff like we're saying, well, as long as they ain't doing this. It's not no as long as. It's like, what's the will of the Most High? The will of the Most High is not in them not worshiping the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean that that's the will of the Most High, because they're not calling on Satan. That's the thing. That's what we have to get out of our mind. Like, we can't just settle for less just to be satisfied. And that's what we do. We settle for less to be satisfied because less pleases us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I say less because it looks to be more, but it is less in a ruach. It just looks to be more, and it's not more. And this is the thing right here. A lot of people are not talking about what really has to happen to sustain yourself. You really got to get sold out to sustain yourself. You really got to get to the point where you expect a raven to come give you some bread, like Elijah. I'm talking about, you really have to get to that point where you really believe. If you don't believe like that, you might as well close the book, because the book is based on faith. Everything that we have in the scriptures is based on faith. This whole walk is based on faith. And it's like, we want the proof all the time. The proof is not there all the time. We have to actually have the faith and the works. If we want to get something done, we have to physically use some type of strength, some type of mental ability to believe something and take some form of action. Then comes the actual product. That's how it works. So even if we're believing something ludicrous, the Most High is not going to show up if everything is there and you have the resource, or if you've been told what to do. He's going to keep prompting you to get going. It's like we keep looking for a lifeline. Like, that's why I keep talking about miracles, is most of the time a lifeline. It's like it's no other option. Like, we got to get this done now. But the Most High, on a regular basis, operates in faith. And when he operates in the faith, it'll actually show you what you need to do. And this is why when you see certain ones in the scripture not being healed, when he told the guy to drink a little wine for some time infirmities at the time, he could have just went on and healed him. He left Melidas, or one of them, back home sick. So he didn't heal him. It wasn't the will of the Most High that he healed that guy at that time. So everything is not just miraculous healing. Everything is based on the will of the Most High. When there's doubt in the room, people had to be kicked out because there was too much doubt, so that the miracle can be done, so that the work can be done, because there was doubt in the presence. Same thing when you look at the vice versa, that when they were all on one accord and act, he came down. He wasn't coming down. They wasn't all on one accord. They were expecting it, and everybody was expecting it. Sometimes the evil communication will corrupt good manners. It'll corrupt the process of Yah. If you can't just stop with what was written, you have to look into the inside and say, what else will it stop? Evil communication, it'll corrupt good manners. It'll corrupt the process. It'll corrupt blessings coming forth. Anything that you need will be stopped, because of the fact that you have actually limited yourself to thinking that you're okay. You went to this safe zone. There's no safe zone in this faith walk. It's like the safe zone is Yah. Like, we can't look for a safety net in individuals that we see, because of the fact that we approve them with our natural eye, or what we approve them with how we feel. It's like, it's not about how you feel. That's the thing. Like, if you want to live, it's about what you know. And what you know is this is a faith walk. And you know that if you're on the Most High side, that he's going to be with you. But if you're on another side, he's not going to be with you. Another side is all boiled down to being outside of the will of Yah. That's the thing. So if you're outside of the will of Yah, you're technically on another side, but the grace of Yah has you there, but you're not in his will. And since you're not in his will, you can't get everything that's been prophesied to you. It's like people want to believe and hold on to stuff outside of the will of Yah. Some of this stuff happens based upon stimulation and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like certain stuff you got to do. It's stipulation basis. So told us stipulations. So certain things you have to do in order to actually get certain things. It's like Hezekiah, he had to turn his face to the wall. And he had to remind the Most High what all he had done. He had been prophesied to die. Get his house in order. You get ready to die. When he turned his face to the wall, he reminded the Most High everything that he had done. He had walked upright. Why do I have to die right now? He's pretty much saying, look, I want to be here for my family. I want to be here to make sure everything is fine. So he said, okay, I'm going to add, 15, 20 more years to your life, 15 more years to your lifestyle. So I'm going to add 15 more years to your life based upon your righteousness. Now, if he hadn't been walking upright, I can't guarantee that the Most High would have added anything to his life. That's the thing. So think about how you're in that position out of the will of Yah. That's the thing. You don't have a voice. You don't have nothing to say. It's like you kind of at the mercy of the court, or the mercy of the Most High 24/7. Like you can't go to the throne of grace boldly and proclaim anything. You're going to the throne of grace asking for grace. It's like it don't have to come because you were disobedient outside of the will of Yah. So therefore it's not, it's not like a genie in a bottle and then it's like he respects obedience better than sacrifice. You say, oh, look, I was sacrificing this, doing that, but you wasn't obedient. I told you could what I want you to do. But since everybody that you like didn't agree with you, you didn't do it. So now it's going to cost you. No, I'm not going to add that much more time to your life. Start doing what you got to do. And if you have time, it may come. But if you don't have time, time may run out on you. You may still make it into the kingdom, but you won't be here. That's the thing. So it's like we can't look at what's liked by people, liked by the flesh. We can't look at what we think is good. We have to know that if the Most High has told us something, as contrary as it may be, it has to be done no matter who likes it. And because the thing is, they're not the one that's got to answer to the Most High. It's going to be you. He's going to say, what is that I require of you? You're going to say, hey, look, well, such and say, you're going to say, well, they're not here. It's going to be you and him. Not going to be a whole lot of people that you said that you had to get approval of. And this is why we have to make sure that the approval comes from the Most High, not by man. That's the thing. And if it comes by the Most High, you see something going on in your word, in this word, then you know that it's been approved by the Most High. It's just that we've overlooked it and got caught up into, what we think is popular. Back to the politics again. Like certain ones don't accept certain ones because of certain ways they carry themselves. So they say, look, if you don't carry yourself this way, then they don't really say it. It's like an unspoken, unwritten rule. It's like you ain't going to connect because of the fact that they see that you're walking in a different manner. Like when people see pure righteousness or you trying to be upright, they shun you. They don't want to be involved. They don't want to be around you because you're going to tell something. You're going to actually reveal something about them or whatever it is your conversation may rebuke them in general. So since you don't want to rub shoulders with them and say, hey, man, they bringing up stuff that's profane, bringing up stuff that's, lustful, whatever. You don't want to joke about it. You don't have anything to say to actually fit in with the group. Well, they know when you coming. I remember back in the day, they say, well, hey, that comes real well. We leave it alone. We stop talking, everybody get quiet. And they just, because they know you're not trying to entertain that kind of conversation. But why? You don't have to let nobody vex you up. You don't have to let nobody, they can say what they want to say, but you don't have to give input on it because they're laughing and acting a fool about it. You can say, look, I understand it's funny to you, but that, I ain't got nothing to do with none of that like that. I'm good. Yeah, to bring offense, but it's about me. If I got to do that to protect my soul salvation and protect, my inner peace, my shalom, then that's what it is. I'd rather you be mad than me be vexed up with this conversation that you're bringing on. That's the thing. So it's like, it's just taking a stand. It's a separation. That's what you call being set apart. If you're doing that, you're set apart. You'll set yourself apart from the world and from anybody that's saying they're in this walk or whatever they're saying they're in concerning the Most High. You set yourself apart from them if they're not speaking this. If they're not speaking this, they're not in this. They can't speak no other language. That's what Paul said. He that come that preach another Yahushua Hamashiach. He said, what are you, saying? No, don't preach nothing different. It's the same one that's in this. I don't need to preach somebody else saying that or twist this word and try to make it seem like it's something that it's not. So you're preaching another salvation. You're preaching another savior. He said, and that's not, if you're preaching another gospel, I don't want to hear another gospel. All I want to hear is this right here, him crucified. That's it. I don't want to hear about what you got going on at home that I can't help you with. We can't pray about it. You want to come against, you just want me to entertain your garbage. Don't entertain people's garbage. Don't entertain stuff. You don't be a trash can for people. Won't let them dump all their problems on you. And so we have to look at, these things cause you not to stand in the fiery trial because what they do is interrupt your shalom. And when your shalom is interrupted, it gives you something else to focus on. This is why you have to stay clear in what you're entertaining, even concerning social media and all the propaganda that's going on see the big picture. Most of the time when things are flooded through the system, is usually to block something that's real, that's happening, that's in the process, that's going to creep up on you, and you're not going to know it. When it happened, the rug is pulled from up under you, and you're like, okay, man, I didn't see this coming, but it's been coming a whole while. You just wasn't focused. That's the thing. You should always be ready.
That's distracted.
Yeah, you just distraction. That's right. You were distracted. But let's look at 1 Peter chapter 1.
3.
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed be Yahuwah and the Father of our Adonai Yahushua Hamashiach, which according to his abundant mercy has begotten us anew into a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahuwah Hamashiach from the dead. To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fades not away, reserved in the Shamayim for you, who are kept by the power of Yahuwah through belief unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
No, I wanted to stop right there. We're going to do 7. You catch that and said, though now for a season. That's the thing. So that's what we have going on. You reflect back to Yahushua Hamashiach when he was tempted. It say, after he passed those 3 tests that came, he said he left for a season. And so this is normally not forever when it's something you got going on and it's a righteousness thing of Yah. He comes in different times and different patterns. When it's an ongoing thing, you constantly in bondage and something has you bound, this is not no trial. You're bound. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't be bound by anything that doesn't have a regulation over your life. That's not the governor over your life. And we say, for lack of a better word, doesn't have Lord over your life. So if something is lording over you, it has you bound. So if you're giving into sin, sin has you bound. It's not going to go in no season. It's going to stay until you get the sin straight. That's the thing. That's the difference between the fiery trial and actually, you being in sin. It's a season. And it's not a season when you're actually just in bondage. When you're living a contrary lifestyle, it's going to keep happening until you stop that contrary lifestyle. That's what's going to happen. People are calling that a fiery trial. That's not a fiery trial. You're living in sin. And sometimes you're living in it unaware. You've actually made covenants and stuff like that, contracts with the enemy because of things that you have done. Doors that you open up, it causes you to be bound. And you're trying to pray and you're trying to go and they're not reaching that far because you're still in bondage. You got to repent and do the first works. You got to go back, fix that you did wrong. Whatever it is that you open up or done, or whatever it is that you did against Most High, whether it be wicked world, against somebody, unforgiveness, whatever it is, you have to actually figure it out, stop that, and then go forward. Other than that, it's just an ongoing thing. Certain sickness come because of unforgiveness. It's like all things happen because of something else. But when it's a trial, it shows you here, this is actually, once again, it's a seasonal thing. You don't have dominion over your lifestyle. That's the thing. The sin has dominion over you when you give yourself unto sin. And that's the same thing happen when you're distracted and you're not in the will of Yah. At this point, you're willing to accept so much stuff now because you don't have the will of Yah for your life. So you're just willing to accept anything that seems like it may be the will of the Most High. It's coming forth and you just letting it just, attach itself to you, and now you're not being fruitful. You can do that.
7. 1 Peter, verse 7. That the trial of your belief being more precious than of gold that perishes, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua Hamashiach.
Okay, so we'll just stop there, even though it's not a period. So basically saying the trying of your belief. So this is trying your belief. You ain't going through no trial because of disobedience. Most of the time when you're going through something, it's because of disobedience. It's not trying your belief. It's you're being punished. You're being whooped because of something you did wrong. But in these fiery trials, it's trying your belief. It's testing your faith. That's why they will always make the stand and say, whoever you want to believe is fine, but it's Yahushua Hamashiach, the one who you crucified, is the reason this person is made well and made whole. So they were standing on their faith. Their faith was being tried. That's the difference from the fiery trial and you just going through hell because of the fact that you're living in disobedience. And disobedience is just the opposite of what Yah said do. You're in one place and he wants you in another place, and you went to that place and they say, but this is now you out of the will of me. So it's a problem going on. So things seem to be contrary. So if you listen to me, if there's still time to straighten it up, I'll get you back on track, get you back into place. And then now everything is beginning to be more proper because you're not just doing a sacrifice. You're being obedient and you're doing the sacrifice unto me because you are the sacrifice. That's the thing. So it's like when we get ourselves lined up with the Most High, then things begin to be smooth. It's not always supposed to be rough. When things are always rough, most of the time, because there's certain things that we desire to do that the Most High don't want us to do, or we're in an area operating and the Most High don't want us to operate in that area. There's so many things that can get people in trouble. Even calling, it tells you to abide in your calling. If you're in another calling and it's not the calling he called you, it's going to be a strain in that calling. You know, you don't have to go to soothsayers and all this stuff to give somebody a word. If you're called by the Most High to do this thing, he's going to give you word to give to the people. But if you're doing it another way, you got to go through all these back doors because of the fact that you're in a different calling. This isn't what he called you to do. It's not time for you to operate in it yet. Certain things have to be happening to get you developed. But you haven't got to a point to be developed because your trial that you think is the Most High is because of sin. You ain't got to the point yet where he could try you yet because you steady in sin. It's got you going crazy. And so you about to lose your mind. The Most High trial ain't going to cause you to lose your mind, cause you to be, in no type of psychiatric ward or anything like that. This has happened because of sin, because of what we've done in the flesh, the deeds of our flesh. It causing us to actually lose it, go crazy and stuff like that. If we let go and let him, then what happens is then we get to the point where we can have our faith tried. That way we can grow. But it's like we haven't got to that growth point yet because we're still fighting on this low level with flesh, still fighting on a low level with things that we're trying to straighten out. We're wrestling with whether or not to do the will of Yah now. And that's going on a regular basis. You're playing tug of war, and then all these other things are happening because you're not prepared to stand because you hadn't yet been tried. So you're just getting bombarded with more and more stuff because you hadn't yet let the Most High take control over your life. And this is what we have to do, get to the point where we can go through the real fiery trial so we can grow. And so it's like pretty much that. With that being said, that's pretty much what we are looking at. Even James tells you, resist the enemy, he will flee. Draw nigh to Yah, he will draw nigh unto you. So if you resist the enemy, he will flee. Now you draw nigh to Yah, he's drawing nigh unto you. Now he's gonna prove you to see whether or not you're ready to do the job. You ain't got to that point yet. A lot of people trying to do the job, still wrestling in sin. This we have to look at. Make sure that you're going through a fiery trial, not being rebuked by the Most High or entertaining a lifestyle that's called the house of time to have dominion over your life, and you're getting that mixed up with it. So the fiery trial is what the Most High have going on because you're actually having your belief and your faith tried to stand in him, to do the will and to do the work of him and not to deny him. All right, with that being said, we're going to close out. Father, y'all, thank you right now for the word that went forth. I think that we realize that when we go through trials, that we're in a position that we're not actually wrestling with our flesh. We're actually getting to a point where we're letting our flesh be put in subjection with the action, with the obedience of your word. We think that the will of you will be done in our life. We think that we submit our will unto your will, Father, y'all. And we just thank you right now for this day that you have made. We should continue to rejoice and be glad in it. In the name of the Son, Yahushua Hamashiach, we pray. So be it.